Dad. Is it true that Michael Ignatieff, the Liberal Party leader, didn't come back for us? Then why did he come back? And where did he come back from?
Ho, 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 son. You've been watching those nasty Conservative Party attack ads on TV again.
Yes. They say things like,
Michael Ignatieff is back in Canada, but can we trust him?
and things like,
Ignatieff, he didn't come back for you.
what does it mean, Dad? Why did Michael Ignatieff come back, and where was he all those years?
Well, son, let me try to explain.
Yes, Dad. Please explain why Michael Ignatieff came back.
Well, son, it's true Michael Ignatieff has spent many years outside Canada. He went to England to study at Oxford University after completing his undergraduate degree at the University of Toronto in 1969. He then completed his PhD in history at Harvard University. He taught history at the University of British Columbia, then became a senior research fellow at Cambridge University in England until 1984.
But Dad. That's all well and good, but did he have any real jobs?
Ho, 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 son. Teaching at a university is a real job, in spite of what some people may think. But yes, Michael Ignatieff has had what you call real jobs. He was a journalist, broadcaster, and writer for many years, while living in London, England. He was a director at the Carr Center for Human Rights Policy at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. He was the Chancellor Jackman Professor in Human Rights Policy at the University of Toronto. He did all of this before becoming a member of Parliament for Etobicoke Lakeshore, then the Liberal Party leader.
But Dad. What does he really know about Canada, after spending so much time outside the country? Dad?
Well, son, you remember when we took that trip to Grandpa Ebu's hometown of Shebu? Remember that? Didn't you learn a lot about other cultures and ideas from your cousins in Shebu?
Yes, Dad. I remember. I learned a lot, and when I came back to Canada I saw our life in Canada in a whole new way.
Well, you see, son. It is often said that travel broadens the mind. Don't you think Michael Ignatieff might have learned some valuable perspective on issues while living outside of Canada? Don't you think that that would make him even more qualified to be Prime Minister, not less qualified?
Well, when you put it that way, Dad, I suppose it does. I suppose Michael Ignatieff might have learned a great deal about Canada while he was living in other countries. But Dad, you still haven't answered my question? Why did Mr. Ignatieff come back?
I think you would have to ask Michael Ignatieff that question. There are probably many reasons why he came back to Canada, and many are probably personal. But it seems that he also came back to try and serve his country by entering politics. In this cynical age that we live in, people forget that many politicians enter politics to try to do some good things for their fellow Canadians. So I assume that this is one of the reasons that Mr. Ignatieff came back to Canada.
Well, Dad, that makes sense. But why are the Conservatives harping on this? Why do they seem intent on trying to make it sound like something bad? Why do they try to make it sound as if living in a foreign country is a bad thing for a Canadian to do?
Well, son, I think the Conservative Party is trying to appeal to some of the xenophobic tendencies of some Canadian voters. They are getting down and dirty, and playing dirty politics.
What's xenophobic, Dad? Does that refer to people who fear Xena, the warrior princess?
Ho, 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 son. No, it has nothing to do with Princess Xena. Xenophobic refers to xenophobia, a fear and hatred of foreigners or anything that is strange or foreign.
Well, Dad. That's pretty low for the Conservatives to try to appeal to the xenophobic emotions of Canadians.
Yes, son, it is. But that's just my opinion, of course. Does that answer your question, son?
Yes, Dad, I think so. I think the Conservatives are really shooting themselves in the foot with these attack ads. They are pointing out that Michael Ignatieff is even better qualified to be Prime Minister, perhaps even better qualified than Mr. Harper, who it seems, has never even spent much time outside of Ontario and Alberta.
I'm of the same opinion, son. Travel broadens the mind, and it would be nice to have the Prime Minister with a broader worldview, rather than a narrow-minded ideologue in the Prime Minister's office.